evening, Jelly Beans. This is Jewelry Jelly here with Jessica and George Washing Machine. And I hope everybody is doing well tonight. It's Thursday, the 20th, like that guy on The Simpsons that everybody posts the picture of with the necklace. And it's gonna be Friday tomorrow. Hello, MJD82. I am looking forward to this weekend because I will be headed to in-person doll club meeting for the first time in a couple months, actually. Oops. Alright, let's load our game. So yeah, let's see. We are 11 days out to the biggest convention in comic time. And let's see what we've got here. It's 18 o'clock. And what have we got for commissions? Hello, Dr. Zadium. How's it going? Ooh, Interstellar. Let's do that. The Captive. Jessie opened her eyes, gasping for breath. The wounds on her body had been tended to, but they still ached terribly. Cheers sounded from outside, and faintly the blare of trumpets could be heard. Wait, this is interstellar and science fiction. Oh well. Jessie closed her eyes, so her nation had been defeated. As the former admiral of the Alliance, she knew there was only one fate left for her: execution. Let's see. When the soldiers arrived to take her away, Jessie actually felt a wave of relief. But their destination wasn't the execution grounds Jessie had imagined. Inside an opulent room, a figure in an ornate military uniform turned, holding a wine glass and eyeing the disheveled captive up and down. Hey, it's Barack Van Zeeks! This was the victor of the battle, the Empire's most celebrated general. Surrounded by admirers, James, with a coldly arched brow, regarded Jessie, his once great rival, now a prisoner. Jessie, James said from above, the Emperor asked me what reward I wanted. Wealth, honors. I asked for none of it. I only requested one thing. In Jessie's shocked gaze, James declared triumphantly like a true victor. From today on, you are my assistant. Let's see. From today on, you are my personal trainer. Hentai? Wait, that's me. Heck yeah. Alright. And it is time for go to bed. Okay, let's see what's happening on eBay. Okay, so, let's see. James and Jessie's century wedding. 11 days left. Alright, so we're just getting ready for this. Alright, so we've got our products chosen, so let's go out and see if anything fun's going on. Let's check our commissions first. Let's see. Heart-wrenching, fluff, tragic romance, reincarnation, funny, enemies to lovers and enemies, widow angst, regular angst, widow angst. Well, let's put up the Ida room stuff first. So it looks like we're all good here. Wow. That is laggy. Let's head to the Institute and see what's going on. Every time I see you youngsters, I can't help but sigh. Your 20s are the best years of your life. After 30, both your energy and creativity drop dramatically. Is it because of family obligations? Work, promotions, family, and the natural decline of the body and mind. Suddenly, there are so many more things to take care of in life, and you can't write freely and carelessly like you did in your school days. Please don't say that. I prefer your later works, especially the portrayal of fatalism in Becoming Your Light. It has a unique strength to it. Different stages of life do produce different works. Perhaps that's the only benefit of getting older. That might be true for you, but I refuse to admit I'm getting old. I still argue with people online, and when I check, they're only 18. What's there to brag about with that? Aw. Alright, so let's do some angst studying. Browsing Grandma's collection of fanzines. And let's see. Do some wandering around, listening from the elderly shippers. Let's give Nora a little present. Okay. Alright, somebody wants some angst, I will give them some angst. I just can't find any angst. Well, let's head back out then, shall we? Alright, let's do some brainstorming. Fantasy, magic, and reunion. I'll choose reunion. Ooh. Ah, and there's enemies to lovers and angst. Alright, let's do it. Time for go to bed first. Ooh, got some new commissions. The day of reunion. James opened the door with agility, only to find the dimly lit room empty. Before he had a chance to process the oddity of the situation, he felt the cold barrel of a gun pressed against the back of his head. Hands up, turn around. The voice behind him was lowered deliberately. James found the voice oddly familiar. When he complied and turned around, both froze in place. James? James could hardly believe he was seeing Jesse here. His former partner from the academy, his friend and rival. They had trained together, sparred together, ran laps on the training grounds, and under the New Year's stars, vowed to become the best police officers they could be. But if he was shocked, Jessie was even more stunned. She and her team had been lying in wait for a full week, meticulously preparing for this day, covering every possible contingency to catch the elusive killer. Yet nothing could have prepared her for the fact that the murderer with countless lives on his hands, the one who'd caused all this trouble, was none other than James, who had vanished without a trace after dropping out of the academy. Finally caught you. I never expected it to be you. Jesse's voice was filled with bitterness and hurt. James remained silent, his mind racing to assess the situation. Jesse didn't know that James was actually working undercover on a highly classified mission. If she took him back to the station, his years of work would be ruined. James decided. Should resist or give in? Let's resist. James knew Jessie well. They had once sparred for an entire night in the ring, and he knew her movements like the back of his own hand. The moment Jessie turned away, James tensed, ready to strike. But he had overlooked one thing. Jessie knew him just as well. I knew you'd try that, Jessie said, grabbing his wrist tightly, squeezing until he winced. James gritted his teeth, saying, "It's not over yet." With that, he retaliated, and the two began trading blows. Despite the years that had passed, their moves remained seamless, every motion fluid and sharp. The air in the room felt almost frozen, broken only by the sound of their labored breaths and the rapid exchange of attacks. James didn't want to harm Jessie, but he also couldn't risk blowing his cover. His hesitation only fueled Jessie's anger. In a fight between experts, a single moment's hesitation is fatal. James couldn't dodge Jessie's full-force kick and was flung several meters, collapsing on the floor, coughing as he struggled to breathe. He lay there, clearly defeated, incapable of resisting any further. Why? Tell me, James, why did you... Jessie crouched down, grabbing his hair and forcing him to look up. There was no satisfaction in her eyes as she looked at his pain-filled face. Though she didn't realize it, her own expression was just as pained. James was panting, trying to force a weak smile, looking as if he had given up. If you want to kill me, then do it. You... For a moment, Jessie hesitated. Could she really kill him? Deep down, the answer was probably always no. Even though James had betrayed her, even though he had left her behind, even though she had spent countless sleepless nights bitterly asking why he had abandoned her, even though she had trained day and night over the years, becoming a top detective with the sole aim of seeking revenge on him, she had never once truly thought about killing him. Could she kill him? The answer was undeniable. They're coming, Detective Jessie. We need to get out of here. A crackling voice came from the radio. Jessie cast one last reluctant glance at James lying on the ground, and, in the end, did nothing. She turned and ran. Okay, that did not have angst, so let's redo it. Okay. Alright, we're going back and we are choosing to give in. I'm sorry, Jessie, James said quietly. I'm sorry for leaving you. I'm sorry for not telling you anything. The sincerity in his voice caused a flicker of pain in Jessie's eyes. Come back to the station with me, James, she murmured after a moment of hesitation. All these years, I missed you. She took out a pair of handcuffs to restrain him. James didn't resist, but as she reached out to cuff them together, James snatched the gun from her waist and struck her with the butt of it. Jessie collapsed without a sound. You still trust me so much, Jessie. James looked down at her, a complex expression on his face. Jessie looked peaceful, as though she were merely asleep. Even now, her brow was furrowed in slight distress, as if silently questioning why James would do this. Why he would hurt her, abandon her, and betray her over and over again. James heard footsteps approaching from outside. With one last glance, he let out a soft sigh and disappeared into the inky blackness. We'll meet again. All right, there we go. There's our angst. We have completed our commission. Vampire James. All right, so let's see. Looks like... Okay, so we'll go work at the merch shop. right. Ooh, we have a fanzine publication. Let's see. Dark Knight Oath. The printing of this book must include Infernal Road. Right. Okay, let's see what we got here. What have we got for commissions? Let's see, Widow and Angst. There we go. Jessie died. At the funeral, James maintained a numb expression. Everyone blamed James for being indifferent to Jessie's death, condemning James's cold-heartedness. But what they didn't know was... James was awakened by nightmares again, sweating and breathing heavily. He buried his face in his hands, recalling the scenes from the dream. In those real dreams, Jessie's figure appeared distantly in the mist. James was overjoyed, trying to reach forward and grab her, but only heard her say, "I've transmigrated into a novel, becoming the wife of the notorious James. I have 5 years to complete my mission to save him. I've transmigrated..." Whoop, wrong one. Okay, so blah 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 blah. Okay. All set. Alright, time for go to bed. Okay, we felt the mysterious pat we're calling. We meet again. Now you shall name your choice. Alright. And some more exhibitions, and we're all good. Let's see. Let's head out and get some tags. Well, first let's check our tags. So, reincarnation and funny chatfic. Let's see. What's burning? My passion is burning fiercely. The pot is on fire. Okay. Trash to your stuff. It's the kind of work you'd read while doing 121 miles per hour. I'm totally using this as my bedtime story. This is God's hearing. Okay. Alright. I mean, it's okay. Do I have modern? No, I do not, but let's set out and grab some modern. Let's see. Nasty Doctor? Okay. Alright, so let's grab some gashapons. MIB Jessie. Little stamp. Okay, that's cool. Alright. Oh, time for go to bed. Alright, let's see. Oh, we got some new commissions. Let's do the modern AU 12-hour event. Let's do this. Jessie unfortunately caught a cold with a sore throat, so she went to the hospital to register and see a doctor. The doctor wore a mask with a demeanor that was lively, but somehow looked very familiar. Open your mouth. Ah! Wider. Be obedient or bite him. Be obedient. Ah! Jessie struggled to open wide, feeling her cheeks ache. The doctor named James looked at her in this state, lightly curled the lips. I really miss this. Haven't seen you like this since we broke up. Okay. There we go. All right. Ooh, we can publish another fanzine. All right. Little Champion. And we can level up the Institute. Ooh. We got ABO, Hurt Comfort, Chatfic, and Enemies to Lovers. Hey! Let's head over there and do some brainstorming. Ooh, enemies and enemies to lovers. Nice. All right. Let's see. All right. Oh, it's night, so time for go to bed. We'll do that one tomorrow. Are you still alive? The voices. James opened his eyes, and in front of him was the face of Jessie that was magnified to the point that even the eyelashes were clearly visible. Why are you so close? To make sure you're still breathing. What, are you so tired? Can you really beat me if you keep going like this? Jessie sat back down, looking down at the wounded James. Don't be too proud. I will beat you sooner or later, and then... Looking at James, who suddenly became energetic, Jessie laughed softly. I'm looking forward to the day when you kill me with your own hands. All right. All right, so something only 13. Animal related items plus 20%. Yeah, we'll go. Okay. Sweet stories and fantasy. I have stickers. Look at me. The Werewolf and the Vampire. Vampire Jessie lived in the mountains and had to endure the werewolf's howling every day. In spring, the werewolf howled. In summer, he howled. Autumn came and he kept howling. Finally, by winter, Jessie had had enough and opened the door to tell the wolf to shut up. The werewolf, James, who had always been at odds with Jessie, scoffed, "Why should I be quiet? Awoo!" and howled even louder. Jessie leaned in and kissed him. "If you like howling so much," she murmured, "then I'll make you howl all you want." After that, the wolf never howled again. Later, it was rumored that the wolf was... Oh, crap. Congratulations, we've gotten to the Mpreg part of the game. Okay, well, let's head out. Maybe, let's see here. Reunion. Alright, let's do some brainstorming with fantasy. Fantasy and fluff. How old Jessie was, 7 or 8, or 8 or 9, Jessie had almost forgotten. But Jessie still remembered that it was her who first caused the trouble, and since then, James was like a snake, impossible to shake off. When Jessie was still a child in the evening, James would always stand alone by the dock, watching her and the other children playing. Every time, James wore clothes that only nobles would wear, looking like a little adult. But all the children seemed to be afraid of him, and none of them would take the initiative to speak. Even when they accidentally made eye contact, they would quickly look away in fear. Jessie secretly observed for a long time, until one day when it rained, and the children were shouting and rushing to go home. Jessie wasn't in a hurry, letting the rain fall into her eyes. Finally, she spotted that awkward figure. Someone was actually trying to hold up an elegant umbrella in such weather. "James, what's your name?" Jessie shouted as she ran over and grabbed James's hand, pulling him along. Jessie jumped into an old fishing boat which still had a wooden canopy to shield from the rain. James hesitated for a moment, but in the end he climbed in as well. The umbrella had long been discarded somewhere. "James, I know you, you're the bishop's child. Why do you always stand over there watching us?" James opened his mouth to say, "Because I'm bored." He didn't want to play with the children of the upper class, and his mother was an old noblewoman, while his father was a bishop, so he wasn't allowed to play with them. At that time, class differences were just a vague concept in children's minds. "Well, that's true. Our parents also tell us to stay away from you." Jessie didn't think there was much difference between them. So Jessie boldly asked, "Do you want to play with me? You can come find me here, when there are fewer people." It was raining heavily that day. James nodded slightly, then suddenly took out a half-wet piece of white paper from his bag and wrote something down, though the new characters were unclear. "All right then, you must wait for me here. Write your name in the lower right corner." Jessie said she couldn't write, so James held her hand and taught her. Later, when the rain eased and got darker, James slung his bag over his shoulder and started to walk out. Before he left the old boat cabin, James turned back and looked at Jessie, saying, "Don't forget." Sure enough, the next evening, when Jessie arrived, James was kicking small stones by the dock, and when James saw Jessie, his eyes lit up. Jessie was still unsure of what to do with James and was thinking of taking him to ride a bicycle, which seemed the only reasonable option. But before Jessie could say anything, James spoke first. "I'll teach you how to write." Something that had once seemed as unreachable as a distant star was suddenly picked by James and placed into her hands. Jessie was somewhat at a loss, but still longed to nod. At that time, Jessie had a strange feeling, as if she'd been betrayed to her own peers, but James's voice soon made her forget. All of it belonged to a world she had never seen. Unaware of how many secret meetings there were, Jessie spent more and more time with James, and the time spent playing with the other children at the dock became shorter and shorter. Once, Jessie had boldly crossed the line and said, "I wish I could go to school like you." James didn't respond, just pressing his lips together. Jessie waved her hand and said, "Never mind, that wasn't part of the agreement." Jessie finally recognized what she had signed. On that piece of paper it was written, "Jessie must always wait for James." Jessie would always wait. She had nowhere else to go, but James would always leave. Aww. Alright. Childhood friends are the best. Alright, got ourselves a new sticker. And time for go to bed. Comic convention approaches. CT is almost here. Zawa zawa zawa. Zawa zawa zawa, even you? Have you seen the layout of the event? Huh? Has the layout been released? Where are we? Where's the rival ship? Are we back to back or face to face? Is there a buffer zone between us? It's just like seating arrangements in elementary school. If the booth placements aren't done well, it could lead to a bloodbath. You sound like you'd make a great elementary school teacher. How about you put on a pair of glasses next time? This year, the organizers placed our alley in the corner. I tried to negotiate, but they said it's really difficult and there's nothing they can do. To make matters worse, our booth count is even lower than the rivals. It seems like the rivalship got a substantial boost of motivation after hearing about a certain talented creator defecting to our side. It sparked an even greater passion for content production. Is that so? I should get going. I just remembered I haven't finished the illustrations for Jewelry Jelly Sensei's new rocket shipping publication yet. Indeed, Jewelry Jelly Sensei's pulling out all the stops this time, trying a genre and length she hasn't tackled before, which means she needs a lot of illustrations. Being able to use an illustrator so extravagantly is definitely something we'd never even thought of before. But if Lantern Sensei can't keep up with the drawings, should we consider outsourcing some of it? We're a bit tight on time, but if we throw in some money, we can still make it work. Please, trust me, I can handle it. I'm the only artist you'll ever need for Jewelry Jelly Sensei's illustrations. Is that so? Jewelry Jelly Sensei is probably busy working on her drafts right now, but let me thank you on her behalf. Speaking of which, Jewelry Jelly Sensei has been pretty busy working on those drafts lately, and it feels like I haven't seen her in ages. Is she doing okay? Sounds like you're worried about her too. I've been incredibly busy with work lately, but I'm glad I was able to read your updates. I also had the chance to preview the new publication that's set to be released for CT. I really liked it. Thank you. Writer's block? Ah! How could you tell? You must really be a goddess after all. No, forget I said anything. How hard could it be to figure that out? If a creator goes radio silent just before the completion of a creation, chances are she's stuck. I've been trying not to accept that I'm stuck. I thought as long as I kept from uttering the word stuck out loud, then it wouldn't be true. I felt like doing that would keep me from actually hitting writer's block. It's not that I can't write. I'm just procrastinating. But I wasn't expecting it to be so obvious. I mean, I've experienced writer's block before. It's never been this bad. Why does it happen to happen now of all times? Just before CT, which matters the most? Please, don't put too much pressure on yourself. What I like is writing from you, not just one writing of yours. It's fine if you release old works that you've already published. I've always wanted to collect them anyway. I'll buy them too. I'm sorry, but I've got a meeting to attend. Head pat. It'll be okay. Just don't push yourself too hard. I can't really empathize with what you're feeling right now since I don't know what it feels like to be stuck. Don't know what it feels like to be stuck, huh? Sounds like something a genius like her would say. Jewelry Jelly Sensei, it's totally fine if you just release a collection of your previous works for the CT fanzine. Everyone will definitely buy it in droves. You already heard? It was easy to put 2 + 2 together. The usually quiet, ethereal Snow Sensei suddenly came and asked me about something. What would happen if someone re-released a fanzine? And I've been organizing this for years, after all, so it wasn't hard for me to figure out certain things by looking at those obvious signs. You're having writer's block with a new release, right? Please don't put too much pressure on yourself. Making a public apology is a fundamental skill for... she's talking too much. She's talking too much. Please, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Making a public apology is a fundamental skill for organizers. It's totally fine to release the new one after CT. Good writing reserves an ample amount of time for polishing. You're a creator, Jewelry Jelly Sensei. Unlike me, your job doesn't involve mindless grunt work, so it's only natural to have moments when ideas don't flow smoothly. It won't make me think any less of you for it. I'll put everything on hold for now. Please, keep working on the new publication until next Monday. If it's still really tight by then, I'll go ahead and arrange for your previous works to be released with a cover drawn by Wraith Lantern. So relax, I've got you covered. Thank you. You, just focus on your writing. Velvy has become really dependable after all these years. But even though I can escape the pain of writer's block for now, maybe even slack off a bit, why am I feeling so down still? I was worried about not being able to finish the illustrations in time. If you opt for a reprint one now, that would make things a lot easier on my end too. I'm sorry for creating so much work for you. I am your one and only illustrator. Work is the one thing I'd expect you to be creating for me. Well, if you're feeling down over it, you could come over and pet my cats. I'm sorry. I wish I knew what else I could really do for you. It's because of you that I fell for rocket shipping. That'll never change, and I'll never regret it either. Why is everyone being so kind to me? Even though I'm already... Excuse me, is Lily here? She was a moment ago, but she just left. Did she say where she was going? Not sure, but I think she was headed that way. This should be it. I wonder where she could have gone. Found you. Oh, it's you. You seem slightly disappointed. Are you unhappy to see me? No, not at all, and I'm certainly not disappointed. As long as you're not disappointed in me, that's all that I'm hoping for. And why would I be disappointed in you? Because you're my reader, Cora. If I can't write, then I'm worthless to you, right? I simply can't write anymore. Really. Even if I stare at the computer all day, I just can't develop the story of rocket shipping any further. Isn't it funny? The outline for the next part was something we brainstormed together. And yet, even though it's a completely natural progression of the story, I just can't write it. What seems like just a step away feels like a distant shore when I actually try to put it down on paper. I wrote 500 words as if my life depended on it, and then I just deleted them. Then I wrote another 500 words and I deleted those too. It simply wasn't rocket shipping at all. It failed to capture their unique charm. It felt like it was written by a different author. I've also been keeping an eye on the updates and the tags, feeling jealous of every author who can genuinely love rocket shipping and express that love. I look back on my old works and the comments I received, but those pieces feel nothing like what I would write now. The comments seem like they were meant for someone else. Do you know what that feels like, Cora? You know better than anyone that I started writing fan fiction because I wanted the comments. Over all this time, I've received so many comments, short ones, long ones, praise, criticism. Because of rocket shipping, I've met important and wonderful people I never imagined I would. I should be content, right? But there's this strange feeling that the attention wasn't meant for me. It was some kind of magic that I had. Now, that magic has faded. All that love, attention, and the friends all belong to jewelry jelly. I don't know what else I can do. Do you think your ability to create was magic? What else could it possibly be? I've never had any writing training and no one ever told me I had talent. Yet just by loving rocket shipping, I could keep creating stories that brought joy to others. Isn't that amazing? That's something I could never do myself. How am I supposed to tell everyone that the magic is gone? They'll definitely be disappointed when they see what I'm writing now, and I don't want to let down anyone who's passionate about rocket shipping. Show it to me. No way, it's really terrible. Jessie glimpsed gently into James's eyes, sighing with the faintest hint of desire. Whoa! Huh? Looks like you still remember that line. The fact that you even remember it frightens me a little. I'll never forget the very day I fell in love with rocket shipping. I remember you weren't satisfied with that piece either, which is why you hid it away on your hard drive. I often think of fan fiction as something magical. It exists in a pitch-black vacuum, dull and lifeless, but once life is breathed into it, it transforms into something incredibly radiant. Maybe that's the magic you were talking about. When it's just lying in your own documents, unseen by anyone, it's really just text without the magic, just your own ramblings and fantasies. But the magic of fan fiction only happens in that very moment it's seen by the reader's eyes. The parts I'm not satisfied with might have saved a fellow fan's night. The fantasized interactions that feel absolutely normal to me could be a refreshing delight for someone else, making them roll with excitement. It's like the hearts of the fangirls are connected in a wonderful way, which is why these things happen. But none of these possibilities will ever come to life if the readers never get to see it. So, show it to me. No matter how terrible you think it is, next time you write 500 words, send it to me before deleting it. Just imagine me to be your only reader in existence, because I'll never be disappointed in you. Oh my god, that was so touching. And Cordelia was just absolutely right. Like, you have stories that exist in your mind, but the moment they get seen by somebody, that's when the magic happens. It's finalized! It's finalized! Jewelry Jelly Sensei finished writing and sent her latest work to the printers. Meeting deadline. Meeting deadlines means finishing the book and successfully sending it to print, while missing deadline means announced books that weren't completed before the deadline and couldn't make it to the convention. Our rival can never begin to imagine what lavish treatment we've prepared for rocket shipping. And you've cranked out every illustration that we need, Lantern Sensei. Just how many livers do you actually have? To tell the truth, I finished them a long time ago. I just pretended I hadn't to take the pressure off Jewelry Jelly. Me too! I've been dying to relish this new content, but since I didn't want to pressure Jewelry Jelly Sensei, I had to pretend it was perfectly fine if she just released an old collection. Why isn't anyone here praising me for being so thoughtful? Ahem. Everyone, I'm sorry, I'm actually here today. I just came to put something away. Huh? You heard everything, didn't you? It's okay, we can just pretend I didn't. So everyone did and said all those things all for my sake. I'm so glad I was able to finish the piece in time, thanks to Cora's support and encouragement. CT is right around the corner and I can't afford to slack off during this time. Alright, CT booth set up? Alright. Okay, got some new commissions. A happy ending for the endless path. Let's see. Let's do some sci-fi. Okay. Feels like Jewelry Jelly's getting quite a following lately. I want Jewelry Jelly to get more attention, more comments, but sometimes it just gets under my skin. So Cordelia gets upset too, but why? Especially when I see readers leaving longer comments than mine. Those comments are full of random tangents, more flowery than the actual work, like they're showing off. When I write long comments, I try to stay calm and objective, no matter how excited I am, so my words don't unduly influence the creator. Sometimes I wonder if reading such over-the-top long comments might actually burden the author. What do you think, Jewelry Jelly? For me, I'm just really grateful for any long comments, whether I fully get them or find them a bit hard to follow. They take time to read my rocket shipping fix, and then put even more effort to write comments and share their feelings. Isn't that what every creator hopes for, that genuine feedback? That's your take. Jewelry Jelly, you have such a pure approach to creating. Don't say that. Writing for reader reactions, isn't that kind of calculated? I guess nothing's ever easy. Nothing, even fun things like fanworks, even for talented creators like you. I won't let it scare me off. Because I have readers like you, walking this path with me. Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth. It just seems so different after we had that conversation. Let's give her a little present. Okay, let's do a science fiction fic. James, have some cake. No, thank you, James replied, trying to dodge the offer, but he noticed the curiosity and concern in the gaze. But you haven't eaten anything today. To avoid suspicion, James reluctantly took the cake and began to chew slowly. Yet he tasted nothing. Despite his success as a renowned entrepreneur who had risen to fame early in his career, James always felt an insatiable hunger, never truly satisfied. No food seemed to hold any flavor for him. For James, this investment gala meant little. He drifted through the crowd, sidestepping flashing cameras and eager journalists hoping to find an excuse to leave. Suddenly, a scent caught his attention in the crowd. It was indescribable, like rain for the parched or a feast for the starving. James halted, craning his neck to locate the source. "Who is that?" he murmured. "Oh, that's Jessie," his assistant answered. It was none other than Jessie. Jessie, the well-established entrepreneur known for cutting-edge innovations, whose photos James had seen in the news. This was their first face-to-face meeting, and James found himself inexplicably drawn to the tantalizing scent that seemed to emanate from her. "Wait, is this ABO?" Jessie was deep in conversation with a reporter, radiating charisma in a charmingly vivacious way. Seemingly sensing James's gaze, Jessie turned, meeting his eyes with a hint of surprise. At that exact moment, a server tripped nearby, sending a flurry of glasses tumbling. Caught off balance, James was thrown forward, colliding with Jessie. The gasps and murmurs from the crowd barely registered as James landed, pressing against Jessie. In the chaos, James found himself close to Jessie's neck, inhaling the delicate, captivating scent, an alluring mix of light sweat and sweetness like a vanilla latte on a cold day. No. James managed to hold back his impulses. They were quickly helped to their feet. Flustered, Jessie apologized while attempting to brush herself off. Before leaving, James slipped a note to Jessie. Jessie seemed surprised, but accepted it without objection. That evening, James received a message from an unknown number. "James, would you be interested in investing with us?" The city lights spilled into James's vast penthouse, and as he gazed towards Jessie's direction somewhere in the labyrinthine city, he couldn't help but lick his lips. The hunger gnawed at him again. Okay, so... Alright, we got science fiction. Alright. I'm the modern Asimov. Okay. Time for go to bed. I want to see breaking up and getting back together, breaking up and getting back together, breaking up and getting back together. Okay. Alright. Commission on angst, drama, and celebrity. Let's see, drama. Okay. We only have drama, so let's go out and get some inspo. The path between humans and spirits. I wonder why some writers would rather not leave comments with their main account. Interesting question. I thought about it from that perspective. If you leave a comment with your main account expressing your love for the story, the author might feel obligated to respond with something like, "I really like your writing too because," and it ends up turning into a discussion about their own work instead. It feels like when you see a beautiful cat on the street and want to pet it, but instead the cat stands up and gives you a good petting instead. Something like that. That doesn't sound like something anyone would ever encounter. Give her a little present. Okay, time for go to bed. Okay. More commissions. Alright, let's do this. James, you met your end for loving a serpent spirit of under 100 years, a relationship unforgivable to both human and monster realms. You were close to achieving immortality. Human and monster authorities alike originally planned to kill the serpent alone, severing your connection. But instead you shielded the serpent with your mortal body, offering no resistance. You only said that, no matter how wrong the act, the responsibility was yours alone. You pleaded for the serpent's life, even if it meant a death of 1,000 arrows. The king of the underworld set down the book of life and death, and facing him spoke gravely to the kneeling figure. Considering your lifelong service, which has more than compensated for your deeds, I grant you one request before your reincarnation. Before that, may I ask, how is Jessie? How did she fare after my death? The king of the underworld gave a cold snort. Once clever, now foolish. You're already dead. Without your protection, that serpent had no chance of survival. James was silent for a long time, then bowed deeply. James, I wish to be reborn as a monster. I will not return to the duties of the human world. Only let me be with her. The king of the underworld took note and spoke once more. Indeed, those who seek the way avoid earthly attachments. Yet here you are. Very well. When you cross the bridge of forgetfulness, you may choose whether or not to drink the tea of Lethe. With it, past troubles are eased, yet even without it, destiny will find a way. James decided against drinking the tea of Lethe and spent decades wandering the mortal realm, searching. In a vast world, finding one person was no simple task, especially as he was no longer the half-immortal who could command wind and rain, just a small spirit unable to take form. Yet, with both of them now spirits, there was no hurry. One winter, as temperatures plunged, he found shelter in a warm barrier laid by one of the major sects, and made his way to Sword Sect, where he had once stayed, intending to winter there. Upon arrival, his old mark began to burn, and from a distance, he saw a familiar figure running towards him. She lifted him up and brought him into a small wooden hut used for training. Once safe, they both spoke at once. Why did you become a spirit? And why did you choose the immortal path? They stared at each other, finally laughing at the absurdity of it all. Let's go, let's run away together. James coiled around her arm, nestling quietly beneath her robes. Fortunately, he was no longer a half-immortal, and Jessie was merely an outlier disciple. The world was vast enough to hold the two of them. Alright, we got ourselves a reunion. And we just need to write one more reunion story. Let's see here. Okay, we got ourselves another commission. Spring has come. Do you see it? James stops walking, standing by a forsythia bush for a long time. Yes, I see it. Satisfied with the response, James nods and moves forward. He continues asking questions, pausing from time to time, and walking towards the next sign of spring. People cast puzzled glances at him, whispering among themselves. For all this time, James had been alone. That's him, the mad musician, because his lover... What a pity. Love is fleeting, but forgetting takes a long, long time. Jessie exists only in his memories. They've been like this for a very, very long time, but James doesn't mind. James. His lover hesitates, but he knows what she wants to say. You want me to forget you and start a new life? You've said it so many times before. You're a rising star in the world of music, with a long road ahead. Don't you love music most of all? But now people are close to giving up on you. A long time passes and Jessie asks the same question once more. By now people consider James insane. No one appreciates his music anymore. Jessie, he replies. James stops speaking to Jessie, and Jessie no longer responds, like a vivid, living statue. The great composer James has returned. He claims to have cured his madness. The newsboy's voice echoes through the streets and alleys. From then on, James resumes his path as a promising musician, and everyone knows his name. Only occasionally does he see a faded image in his memory, a face now blurred. See, love is so brief. Okay, we got celebrity, but not drama. Alright, fans up. We are now Kami-sama. Disco of Ghosts. Okay, let's see. We need a drama. The Little Mermaid, Part 1. Deep in the ocean, there was a vast and ancient mermaid castle. In the castle lived the Little Mermaid Princess Jessie. Jessie was gentle and likable. As the youngest princess among the mermaids, she was deeply adored by her kind. Mermaids were not allowed to go ashore before the age of 15, so Jessie could only listen to her elder sisters talk about the wonders of the surface world. This made Jessie long for the day when she could see it for herself. On Jessie's 15th birthday, she swam to the surface. What she saw left her stunned. A massive ship was slowly sailing across the sea, its lights dazzling as people in luxurious attire celebrated with raised glasses. The prince, known as James, stood out among them, majestic and passionate and captivating. Jessie's heart skipped a beat. In that moment, she was deeply mesmerized by him. Suddenly, a strong wind arose and people began to scream. The waves churned, overturning the ship. James fell into the sea with a splash, drifting across the surface. Jessie swam with all her might, and, after great effort, saved the prince and brought him to shore. Hearing footsteps approaching, Jessie hid behind a rock. The person who arrived was a princess from a neighboring kingdom, whom she called Pewter City. Pewter City was shocked to see James lying unconscious on the beach and quickly carried him into a house. Under her careful care, James soon regained consciousness. Jessie watched everything from behind the rocks. Being a mermaid, she could not approach the prince. Every night she would swim to the castle and gaze at James from afar. Wanting to get closer to James, but constrained by the gap between their identities, she decided. She thought if she became human, she could meet James, so she sought the witch's help to fulfill her wish. The witch said, "I can turn you into a human, but when your tail becomes legs, walking will feel like stepping on knives. Also, if the prince marries someone else, you will turn into sea foam and die." Additionally, the witch demanded Jessie's voice as payment. Jessie thought, "I always make people angry when I talk, so it's better not to speak at all." Thus, Jessie agreed to the witch's conditions. She swam to the shore and drank the potion. Instantly, she felt an unbearable pain throughout her body and fainted amidst the agony. All right. You're under arrest, miss, for stealing my heart. All right, and commission is complete. And, ooh, another fanzine. Writing Brush and the Veiled Fox. So we need 1, 2, 3 Shansha and 3 Angst. All right. All right, time for go to bed. Exhibition is almost ready. Ooh, Halloween 24-hour event. Modern Angst. Celebrity. Let's do this. Okay, so this is just basically Alright, I just decided to post the Mpreg werewolf fanfiction. Right? 5 different silly articles. Great, we got a picture of little kids in exchange for writing Mpreg. Yay! Okay. for go to bed. Eve of the comic convention. Here you go. This is your vendor badge, Jewelry Jelly Sensei. Ooh, thank you. Let me hold on to it for now. I'll give it back to you when I wake you up tomorrow morning. I can't imagine I'll oversleep. CT is coming tomorrow, so there's no way I'll even get any sleep tonight. There's no need to be nervous, it's just CT. Although it is bigger than any I've attended before with fans, otaku, and the ACG community gathering. Our alley will be showcasing the charm of rocket shipping in front of fellow fans, rivals, and passersby, but since we have Jewelry Jelly Sensei's book, things will definitely be fine. Why would you say that? You're making her even more nervous. Shouldn't that make her blood boil and psych her up? It's really hard to deal with people who use those kind of phrases in real life, but don't you worry, Jewelry Jelly Sensei. I'll always be here for you. That's exactly what I meant to say. Jewelry Jelly Sensei, as long as I'm here, everything will be just fine. Thank you, both of you. That's a lot of people. Huh? Where? Our Rivals Alley has so many people setting up their booths. Just to be clear, when you say rival, you mean the rivalship for rocket shipping, right? Of course! I wasn't just born into the rocket shipping ship like you all were. I'm just yanking your chain. By the way, I really like the illustration you posted last week. It perfectly captured the mood of the scene for Jewelry Jelly's update. Oh, thanks. But you only said you liked last week's drawing. Does that mean you didn't like the one I posted this week? Is there something wrong with it? Yeah, I wasn't expecting the conversation to get this heavy. Oh, you girls are here too. Are you here to set up the booth too, Lantern? And I thought you said you have work today, Ethereal Snow. I took time off in advance. I figured I only asked for time off during CT. My coworkers might figure out I'm a fangirl, so I decided to use all my vacation days at once. If anyone asks, I'll just say I went abroad for vacation. Even though you're just enjoying yourself at Rocket Shipping's alley? Well, this is the spot with the highest concentration of rocket shipping in the world. It's the culmination of everyone's hard work over the past 3 months. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call it the Kingdom of Rocket Shipping. And since I snuck into the Kingdom of Rocket Shipping, I should be able to get married to someone of the same sex, right? Huh? Huh? I mean, it's nothing. Please forget what I just said. Ooh, somebody has a crush. Okay. We meet again. Now you shall name your choice. All right. Okay, so let's see our commissions. Fluff and fantasy. Let's get some inspo. Okay, time for go to bed. And it's the moment of truth. Final exams. Today's the first day of CT. Guess you were right, you didn't sleep well last night, and there's no time for breakfast now, so just eat along the way. I've packed some food. Aw, thanks. Actually, I had a nightmare. What about? I dreamed that very few people came to the rocket shipping alley and even fewer came to buy my works. And the ones who used to leave comments after the tea parties and conventions, those passionate rocket shipping fans in the tags, everyone had dropped out. I snooped on their social media and saw they were all posting about their daily lives and other work now. Even though it was just a dream, that feeling of realism still lingers. If that really happens, what should I do? Give me a moment to think about that. If things really turn out like that, would it affect how you feel about rocket shipping? It's hard to say. I can still feel that sense of panic from the dream. A fan's heart is one of the most volatile things in the world. One moment they're in love, and the next they're suddenly not. So even if I could deceive others, I couldn't fool myself. I hope I can always stay true to my love for rocket shipping, but that hope itself seems to lack strength. I really don't know. Okay, I think I understand how you're feeling. And let me tell you this right now, that's not happening. I'm more than certain that the things you're worried about will never happen. Just imagine, right now, those who love your writing, those who love rocket shipping, and those who discovered rocket shipping through your work, along with others who share that same passion for different works, are all eagerly heading to CT. They've set aside time, bought tickets, booked accommodations, and probably arranged to share a place with others. Why would they do that? Isn't that all because of their love for it? Don't you think there are so few things in life that people can do just for the sake of loving something? Eating and drinking are essential for survival, and pursuing education and work is necessary to meet others' expectations. A person might do thousands of things in a year, but the ones done purely for their own enjoyment are extremely rare. And yet miracles happen. In the act of doing something solely for ourselves, just because we love it, we get to meet each other. So go and meet them, Jewelry Jelly Sensei. I believe this is a miracle that can only be born from passion. So this is Rocket Shipping Alley. It was so empty during the setup yesterday. I was expecting it to be more like this, but seeing it now feels... There's no need to rush. Don't rush. Each person is limited to buying 2 copies of Jewelry Jelly Sensei's works. Supply is limited, and there will be more available for general distribution soon, so please don't buy from scalpers. I was promised 3 copies before, but why are there only 2 left? Oh, I'm so sorry. I must have made a mistake due to all the crazy rush. How about you wait until it enters general distribution? Stare. What's the deal with Rocket Shipping Alley this year? Why is it so popular? Do they create some silly banners or feature borderline cosplay? They must have a Kabe circle or something. I wonder which big shot creator released new work this time. Fandom glossary, wall booths. Popular creators' booths usually have long queues, so convention organizers arrange them along the walls to avoid blocking venue traffic. These booths are called wall booths. I just came from there and it turns out it's just a novel. I saw the long line and I thought it would just at least be a manga. What, fans of rocket shipping aren't allowed to enjoy their novels? Can this be true? Are people lining up for my work? My eyes are getting a bit blurry. No, this isn't the time for that. I need to go help out. Yeah, I told you, right? All those things you worried about won't happen. We've worked hard together, so it shouldn't be surprising to see the result, right? It's such an amazing feeling, knowing that everyone loves your writing just like I do. I'm so happy, even if something happens in the future that makes me and you part ways, the existence of this work is proof that our names were once connected, Jewelry Jelly Sensei. Of course, I hope that nightmare doesn't come true in the future. Everyone seems so happy. I really hope to see everyone's smiles at the next CT too. I suppose any wish made during such a happy moment should come true, right? Alright, selling time. Ooh, sold out. Comic-Con success. CT ended with a resounding success. The results are even better than I'd anticipated, all thanks to Jewelry Jelly Sensei's amazing work. Arrangements for general distribution are already underway, so no need to worry. I'm not worried in the least. You've been the one working hard all along, Velvy. You also planned a tea party while preparing for CT, right? Since there are so many out-of-town rocket shipping fans who usually aren't in the city, it's a rare chance for everyone to gather together. Hosting a tea party is the best way to create wonderful memories for everyone, and this time I'm definitely going to make up for the previous disaster. I decided to host it at the same venue as last time, and this time, I'm sure of it, there definitely won't be another storm. That doesn't sound like something we get to decide, right? Okay. Alright, we got ourselves some new commissions. Ooh, we got a rocket shipping Ida bag showcase. Alright, so... Alright. Excuse me. Okay, time for go to bed. Let's just say that when it comes to certain things, I should have known better and kept my mouth shut. Of course it had to rain cats and dogs on the day of that tea party. Is that just my luck or what? It seems like only a few of us helping set up the venue are here so far. During the last rocket shipping tea party, I think I actually made fun of how bleak the turnout had been. Surely everyone is going to show up today, right? Yeah, for sure they will. Our last tea party was ruined because of the weather. If the same thing happens again this time, everyone would be extremely disappointed for sure. I don't want it to happen again, but there's really nothing I can do about that. Excuse me, is this the rocket shipping tea party being held here? Wow, we got here really early, lucky. Let's take some quick photos. Someone came, fantastic. Such beautiful decorations. Please help me take a picture with these. Rocket shipping is OTP and that's a fact. Things are heating up and there are way more people here than last time. Could it be due to CT or have more people converted to become fans of rocket shipping? I'm so happy. Just knowing about this is enough to bring me joy. Is that Jewelry Jelly Sensei? She's so cute, RL. Am I even allowed to say that? Can I ask her to sign the work I bought? Will she find me annoying? I hear Jewelry Jelly Sensei is super nice in person. Why don't you go and ask? Well, why don't you go instead? Well, wait, Jewelry Jelly Sensei, I'm your fan. Oh, thanks. I bought your work. Would you mind signing the inside cover for me? Me too. What? This is too good to be true. Jewelry Jelly Sensei, I'll always love you. Me too. I immediately fell in love because of your writing. You're simply remarkable. Wow, there's so many people. What should I do in this situation? Stay alone. Fellow fans rushed in like a tide, surrounding me in their wake. It seems like lots of people have come for your sake. For me? Of course! If it weren't for an established talent like you being here, there's no way that these people would be so happy to be here despite the rain, Jewelry Jelly Sensei. Everyone's this happy because of me? I'll probably never get used to this feeling. 6 months ago? No, not even just 3 months ago. I could have never imagined this day. This time, none of my anxieties came true. Although there were setbacks and tears along the way, I always knew. My stories and I have always been loved by everyone. Dang it, my nose is starting to burn. Back then, I simply wanted to share my writing online because I wanted comments. Before I knew it, I'd already received what I wished for 1,000-fold. And yet, I'd never really given thought to why I wanted comments in the first place. What does any author, not just me, really want when they say they want comments? Is she more concerned with the emotional connection with each reader? Or is it a validation of the charm of the story she created? Is it the love from others? Or is it an affirmation of one's own abilities? Looking back now, what I really wanted was... Without a doubt, what I've always wanted has been the love of my readers. Because of that, every time I see my readers' comments, I feel a warm surge of happiness. I want everyone who loves the same ship as I do to feel happy because of my writing. Even now, I feel that this might be the best and most amazing thing I can do in my life. I've brought more happiness into this world. And working hard for rocket shipping doesn't feel burdensome at all. It's what I want to do most in this world because there's nothing I love more than rocket shipping. Why'd you say that out of the blue? I don't think it's too out of place for her to say that at rocket shipping's tea party though, right? Your rocket shipping is my favorite too. Do you think your love for rocket shipping will ever change? I think this time, rocket shipping will stay something I'll always love. I voiced my thoughts out loud. Surrounded by the crowd, looking at everyone's smiles, in this moment at least, my words are heartfelt and sincere. The end. Today marks my 100th day in rocket shipping. At first, I thought 100 days would feel incredibly long, but now, looking back, it seems like it went by in within the past 100 days. I wrote 79 stories. The largest number of them is fluff. My favorite story pattern is modern. I have a total of 5,416 fans. My stories received a total of 2622 likes and 238 comments. It would be too much to call me Master Modern, would it? I made 32 types of freebies and gave away 7 copies. It cost $10.97. Do you remember this? This is the one you've printed the most copies of, 5 in total. It must be one of your proudest. This is an extremely beautiful room. It's my own special room. I bought 88 goods and spent $72.70. The item I collected the most multiples of is Polaroid Demon with 9 purchased. The reason why fangirls can never save up money. Could it be? I own 2 pain bags. I spent the most money on. I published 13 books. I sold 97 copies of the convention, generating $2,160 in revenue. You released 13 books in 3 months? Is that for real? It sounds like a sci-fi movie. At CT30, I applied for 2 booths. The average daily foot traffic is 40. What? 2 booths? They actually approved it? I've written 3 stories for Rippleboat and gave 1 gift. Our relationship is friends. My first reader. I've written 2 stories for Velvet Yummy and gave 0 gifts. Our relationship is list. You're the best organizer in the world. I've written 3 stories for Ethereal Snow and gave 0 gifts. Our relationship is list. Sensei, I love you so much, Sensei. I've written 3 stories for Wraith Lantern and gave 0 gifts. Our relationship is friends. Go for it, Nora. I believe in you. It's said that even in the same city, the probability of 2 people meeting is 1 in a million. It's not an exaggeration to call it a miracle when people from different places, or even different countries, meet because they share a common passion. Fangirls are creatures who live for their passions. Through their passion, they have found something to cherish. Through their passion, they have found something to create. And ultimately, it's through their passion that they cross paths. Thank you. Thank you for making these miracles possible. The main storyline ends here. Thank you very much for playing. The game is still in early access. You can freely play with the save file now. We promise to provide more content and future updates to continue your journey in the fan creation world. Okay, so here is the credits. Okay. Alright, so it looks like we have completed the main game. We didn't get any shared endings with anybody. Alright, so okay, we got some more exhibits, got some more commissions, and we got a refresh in the Gashapon. And I am getting a little hoarse, so time to go to bed. Good morning. I accidentally overslept. The sun's so bright, so it's already morning after rushing to meet the printing deadlines before CT30. I'm still not used to this idle life. Good morning. Ah, Cordelia, what are you doing here? You didn't reply to my messages, so I came to check on you. You've been so tired these past few days. Oversleeping is totally normal. While I'm here, let me interview Jewelry Jelly. How does it feel now that CT30 is over? I feel a sense of emptiness. This weekend was so wonderful, so fulfilling, so unforgettable. Thinking about having to go back to school and attend classes today, it's like being pulled back into reality. It feels like the clock striking midnight. I have to return to my daily life again. It's a little depressing. I get it. It's the feeling of, why can't I stay forever in the shipper paradise of rocket shipping, isn't it? Why are you here too? The tea party ran too late last night, so I ended up staying over at Rippleboat's place. Rippleboat, didn't you turn up the heating enough? I woke up in the middle of the night because it was so cold. Have you ever considered not letting your stomach in the cold air? Since when did these two get close enough to sleep over at each other's places? Right, CT30 is over, so you guys... We were brought together for the sake of CT30's rocket shipping fandom. Isn't that what Jewelry Jelly is thinking about right now? Did you think we'd abandon the fandom after 3 months? Maybe that's what happened before, but I've found a different kind of strength here. With rocket shipping, with Jewelry Jelly, and maybe even with Rippleboat. You don't have to force yourself to include me. We'll keep working on rocket shipping in the future. I still have tons of events I want to organize. As soon as I'm ready to show them Jewelry Jelly Sensei, you'll be the first to see. Now that you've said that, I'm really curious. It's a secret for now, because I haven't finished it yet. At least finish the project before bragging about it. Jewelry Jelly Sensei, whether it's rocket shipping or somewhere else, as long as you need us, we'll always be here. Ah, damn it, you stole my line. The story of these past 100 days has come to an end. How do you feel about it? I want to move on to a new fandom. I want to continue with rocket shipping. Ooh, so it sounds like we get a new game plus. Let's see. You know what? I think we're going to move on, and let's see if we can choose a different fandom. As they say, a fandom lasts 3 months. After spending so much time on rocket shipping, maybe it's about time to move on, right? If you want to move on, we'll go with you. After all, the cost of switching fandoms here is super low. You just have to change the ship in the settings. Hey, you've unlocked all the features of the EA version. We'll still have weekly gatherings on Fridays, but there's no countdown anymore. From now on, you can play for as long as you like. This world is still not in its final form. The gameplay here is still evolving, still iterating. The development team will also occasionally add new content and features. Whenever there's an update, we'll release a version announcement. Be sure to check back then. Alright, so it looks like I said, we are done with the main story. So what I am going to do is I'm going to save, and I'm going to end things off for the night a little bit earlier than usual. My voice is getting a little tired, so let's just check to see who is streaming right now. Okay, let me see here. La 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 la. Okay. Alright, so folks, we are going to raid Shellshock Prime, and he is doing a themed night of games based on movies. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. We are going to be possibly moving on to a different fandom this coming weekend, or moving on to something else. So until then, this has been Jewelry Jelly with Jessica and George Washing Machine. And until we meet again, may all of your tea times be perfect.